Good evening, everybody. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Off Our Rockers. Excited for it. I hope it's going to be a great evening, I'm sure. You know, when we were thinking about doing a comedy club, we were thinking about, just the health benefits of laughing, which are immense. So we're going to bring your blood pressure down, your immune up, all sorts of things. So you thought you were coming here in order to support us. We're actually supporting you. That's what the village does. So before I begin, in earnest, I want to say thank you very much to PJ here and everyone at Fat Pete's for hosting us tonight. I also want to thank our sponsor, who is Margot Wilson of Washington Fine Properties. Thank you, Margot. She has underwritten all of the costs of tonight, so 100% of the proceeds go to the village, which is really fantastic. And, for a while we had this funeral home that was interested in becoming a sponsor. And I thought it was going to be great because if anyone died of laughter, we had you covered. But anyway, if you do, we'll sell you, Margot will sell your house. I also want to thank a couple of other people here tonight that made this possible. Our board of directors, many of whom are here, who run this organization and really make it a powerful, impactful, vibrant neighborhood group helping older adults to remain living in our community, which is so important. So thank you very much for all that you do. I want to introduce our first act tonight, Stacy with an E-Y, Axler. And she is a person that's very familiar here at Fat Pete's and also in the DMV. And she's she's a very observationalist person as well as surreal and really great at engagement. So you've been forewarned, okay? She is also our youngest comedian tonight. And so we're calling her an old soul, which means she doesn't count the number of times she goes to the bathroom at night. Anyway, it's very nice to have Stacy with us. And with that, I'll turn her over for our first act. Thanks so much.
Right. Thank you. Everyone, can we make some noise for Frank for kicking off this show? Yes. And can we make some noise as well again for PJ and the whole Fat Pete's team for taking such good care of us? Hello. Thank you. One person responded. Thank you, ma'am. Hi. 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 I have 20 minutes. We can keep doing this. I'm just going to address the elephant in the room, which is, yes, this is my actual speaking voice. I really do talk this way. For as long as I've been alive and speaking, this has been the voice that's come out of me. So as surprised as you all are, please imagine the shock of my parents when little 4-year-old Stacy approached them one day, apropos of nothing, and said, "I'm ready for preschool today." They did not know what to do. When you have a voice like this, people will ask you questions. Those questions have included, why do you talk that way? Where does that voice come from? And my personal favorite, what happened to you? But everyone, I can't answer these questions, but what I can say is this. The other day I was out with some friends and eventually someone approached me. And in my mind, I was thinking, you know what? This is it. The first time in 32 years, someone unprompted is going to give me their phone number. And what they said to me was, you sound like the Aflac commercial. So they didn't think of me as a sexy person. They thought of me as a duck who sold insurance. And I've just got to say this, everyone. It was the easiest sale I've ever made. I have never sold insurance quicker. It was a great day. I often have been told I sound like I came from the 1920s. So during this show, you know, if I'm doing a poor job, I can just sing, "There goes my baby," and you know, I can be whisked away from the stage if necessary. So don't worry about that. Something about me is I'm a sleepwalker. Any other sleepwalkers here? All right, you're all normal. Wonderful. I'm going to tell you a little bit about my sleepwalking escapades. People often say, "What's the worst thing you've done while sleepwalking?" This is a twofold answer, so I'll answer the first part right now. Some of the worst things I've done while sleepwalking include, there was this one particular day that I woke up and I was outside, like not just outside my apartment, everyone, out the building. I was going back to nature, everyone. And my very first thought when I woke up like that was I kidnapped and then returned? And I was like, it's possible the kidnapper just hoisted me out of bed, brought me outside and said, "You know what? Something different maybe." And then just deposited me out there. In fact, it's very kind of them. I'm trying to get a handle on my sleepwalking. I had to do a sleep study. And when I was picking up the results of the sleep study, my sleep doctor said, "Miss Axler, I've got a funny story to tell you." And I responded with, "Oh, I love humor. Hit me with it." And he said this to me, everyone. He said, "For an average of 15 minutes every night, you stop breathing." And I said, "That must be funny to you because I value my life." And he's like, "It's okay, Miss Axler, it's fine. All you need to do is wear a CPAP machine." Now, I sometimes have to explain to audiences what a CPAP machine is, and I'm going to do it right now, which is a CPAP machine is a device that you hook to your face and it makes sure that you breathe normally while you're unconscious or like asleep. It also makes you look like an octopus. And everyone, I've learned something in my life, and this might not make sense at first, but follow me on this. Sexiness can be charted on a linear graph. When you're born, you start at 0 points on your graph, and all your life you're either adding points or you're taking them away. When I was in my 20s, I had an abundance of points because I was part of a very sought after a cappella group. And thank you. That's the first time I got a woo from that in my whole life. This is the best day ever. But now that I'm in my 30s, I'm hovering on my graph at about a negative 45. And I can trace all these negative points back to a very poor decision I made a few years ago when I decided to learn Elvish. Thank you. I never got a woo for that either. This is great. With no. Yes. I don't. This is probably the best conversation I've ever had. Here's the worst part, though. No one here doubted I know Elvish, and that hurts my feelings, everyone. You can wear a CPAP machine, there's nothing wrong with it, or you can know Elvish, nothing wrong with that, but you can't be an Elvish speaker who wears a CPAP machine. You can't lose that many points. So I told my sleep doctor, I was like, "Thank you so much for that recommendation. I'd rather just stop breathing." I said this at the beginning, say the second thing I've ever done while sleepwalking, which was a few years ago. My roommate bought a whole watermelon and cut it up and put it into like a Tupperware. And then we both went to sleep a few hours later. And then the next day I wake up because she's knocking on my bedroom door and she's shouting. And what she's shouting is, "Stacy, where is the watermelon?" Now, everyone, I'm going to pause right here to take you all back to 1972 when the movie The Godfather just came out. And there's a scene in The Godfather. If you haven't seen the movie, spoilers, it's been a very long time, but still spoiler warning, everyone. There's a scene in The Godfather where an individual who loves his horse very much, the mob is trying to intimidate him. So they kill his horse and they put the horse head in his bed, and he wakes up and he sees his horse and he's like crying and he's covered in horsehair. And he's like, "My horse is here." This is what happened to me with the melon, everyone. So my roommate's knocking on the door. She's like, "Stacy, where is my melon?" I roll over in bed. I lift my blanket. Melon! Like there's seeds everywhere. There's juice on me. I'm sticky. The worst part isn't that I ate an entire watermelon myself in the middle of the night. That's pretty bad. The worst part is I sleptwalk in the middle of the night to the kitchen. I opened the refrigerator. I took the melon out and said, you know what? I'm going to eat this reclining in bed because I deserve it. That's pretty bad. Like, where do you go from there? I didn't know what to say. So I found myself answering. I was like, Melissa, we've been robbed. Like, I feel bad about lying, but sometimes the truth hurts. Any sports fans here? All right, a few of you. My favorite sport is mahjong, and if you think mahjong's not a sport, you have not been with 8 of your mother's closest friends when one of them's looking for a 5 crack. I can tell you that. Anyone here play mahjong? Oh, come on, everyone! It's a good game. It's very. I'm very much trying to get more in touch with, different people. And so I've never been very social, and I'm trying to get more in tune with society. And the other day I was walking through DC and I saw a man and a woman. They were a few paces ahead of me and they were holding hands and they were walking down the street. And then suddenly the gentleman stops and he gets down on one knee. So to everyone, like, I just stop what I'm doing and I shout out to everyone on the street. I'm like, he's proposing. And then everyone stops, looks at them, they take their phones out, and then he says, I found $1. And I'm like, no, like this is wrong. Like, you fooled us all. Like, not just your partner, everyone here. I was waiting for a proposal. And like, in my mind, it's like he's in the wrong because you can't, when you're holding someone's hand, you can't get down on one knee. I think we all know what that's a sign of. Like, and also in this economy, $1, that's not going to get you anywhere. I went bowling the other day, and I have not been bowling since 2004. I was like, I'm going to go now. It will be fun. I used to love bowling. Me, a friend, we went 2 hours. Guess how much this costs? $85. They said to me the price, and I was like, no. This is bowling. Like, I was trying to almost gaslight them. I was like, bowling with a ball and pins? This is 80, but with the shoe rent, it was, anyway. That was a rant I didn't expect to go on, everyone, but oh, it was cathartic. I recently started to get concerned that I've reached middle age. And before you say, no, Stacy, stop, you're young. Well, I believe you're only as old as you feel. And for the past years, I felt solidly middle-aged. Like, if I could pin my year, like, retirement would be right around the corner for me. But I realized I was middle-aged the other day when I read an article that an Outback Steakhouse was opening in my neighborhood, and I finished reading the article and I said, well, my life is turning around, and I danced all around my apartment. When you're excited about the Outback, you have to accept that you are middle-aged. Like, middle age has come to greet you. You don't have to look for it. But to the Outback grand opening, and I was like, I can go by myself. They have a bar. The bar of the Outback House is a very interesting place because you're all kind of sizing each other up, wondering, what did they do to get here? What did they do to get here? Why is no one here with happy families in the back in the real restaurant eating bread? But everyone, I'm gonna say I know myself well enough to be able to say this. I may be a DC4, but I'm an Outback Steakhouse Bar 10, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. The attention that I received at the Outback Steakhouse Bar, best night of my life. They ordered me 3 bloomin' onions. 3. I paid for 0 bloomin' onions, but I ate 3 bloomin' onions. If you're wondering how many bloomin' onions can a fully sized adult eat, it's 3. I might have even been able to eat a 4 if they had given me the opportunity. Oh, it was good. It was a good night for me. I feel like I know you all pretty well, so I'm gonna say this, and we're gonna get a little personal here. So everyone, here it is. The barrier's broken. Who here has a toenail that disturbs you? Come on, everyone, be honest. Oh, someone's getting pulled out. Don't worry, sir, I won't pick on you. I understand. My podiatrist recently turned 92. And I love him. I really do. But I was talking to him the other day and I was like, my toenail has never looked the way I want it to look. And then he said, or listen to me. And which is true because he keeps telling me to cut the nail straight and I just don't. And anyway, there's not a joke here. I'm just complaining. Like, why is the toenail that shape if they want you to cut it straight? Anyway, thank you for listening to this. Oh, that felt good. I've been waiting to tell someone that for years. I went on a business trip the other day and I was on a plane. And for those of you who have traveled recently, you may have seen these viral videos going on with people who encounter what they like to call Karens, just people making the airport a very upsetting place. Ma'am, you just raised your hand. Have you seen a Karen? You're a Karen. No, you're not, because you're self-aware enough to know that maybe you have preferences, but I've never met a self-aware Karen. So anyway, thank you, madam. Thank you. But I was on this airplane and I was like, I'm wondering, someone's about to act up. And then I had the whole flight. It went well. And I was like, maybe I'm the Karen. Like, I was like, probable, and I was like, what is it called? What is it called when, yes, thank you. Thank you, PJ. I appreciate it. Oh, what was I going to say? That was such a good moment for me. I lost my train. Oh, this is it. Is anyone else getting a lot of calls from scammers? Yeah. Okay. Pretty much everyone here. Well, everyone, I got a call from a scammer the other day. And I knew he was a scammer right away just with the words he was using. And he was like, I'm calling you about that car accident that you got into the other day. And I knew it was a scam because I don't drive. So I was like trying to like lead him on a little bit. And I was like, oh, is that the car accident where I died? And he was like, yes, that one. He wasn't even listening to me. He just tried to get to the scam. And here's the thing, everyone. We talked for about a half hour. He was actually a nice guy. His name was Alex. And eventually he was like, do you want to be my girlfriend? And I responded with, no, Alex, I want to marry you. And he hung up the phone. Like, I was trying to keep the scam going. He was like, I'm out. And I was like, no, I've done it again. I've gotten out of another relationship. This is not right. People think that like scammers and also technology is going to take over the world. And I don't know about that. I have a computer that I was issued for work, and every day the computer does a little pop-up for me, and it's like, you need to restart your computer to install updates. Do you want us to remind you tomorrow? And every day I say, remind me tomorrow. I've had this job for over 3 years. I have always clicked remind me tomorrow. People think computers are so smart. It doesn't realize tomorrow's came and went. It's been 3 years of tomorrows. The updates aren't happening. Like, and I have to be fair. I'm not going to update my computer when I don't update myself. Like, look at me, everyone. Just look. Really look at me. Do you think I take a multivitamin? Because I don't. I'm going to end with this. It's been very nice being able to chat with you all today and perform some comedy. And I'm a movie buff. Any other movie buffs here? Oh, yes, wonderful. One of my favorite movies is The Sound of Music. Love that movie. It's like one of my feel-good movies. Yes, I watch that movie. Like, whenever I'm having a bad day, I'll watch that movie. Whenever I want to like share something special with someone, I'll watch that movie. It's just a beautiful movie. And in that movie, there's a song called These Are a Few of My Favorite Things. But then if you really to the lyrics, she gives the largest list of things. Like, it's not a few of her favorite things. It's like 18 to 25 things. And for me, it's like, I don't need a lot. Like, if I were to really tone down, like, and pick out my list, I would really only need one thing. And I think that thing is Alex, my scammer boyfriend. So if you know Alex's number, please, I think he's blocked me. So please help everyone. I need help. Everyone, you've been a great crowd. I've been Stacey Axler. Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Thank you so much, Stacy. Wonderful, wonderful. A few other folks to thank tonight. Online, we have our founding president, Barbara Stevens, and her husband, Rufus King, joining us tonight. And I want everyone to say thank you, Barbara, and give her a good round of applause. A few other people here in shirts like mine. We have Dan Kresge, who is our member and volunteer services coordinator, and Claire Starr. Claire Thompson, or is the member, Claire Thompson, our assistant director. Thank you so much, Claire, for doing all of our tech support. I did have 2 beers. Okay. So part of what I want to do tonight quickly is to tell you a little bit about the village, and I'll be short, as if I could be anything else, right? So last year in 2023, we provided over 1,628 services to older adults living in this neighborhood. That's more than 5 per day, okay? That's a lot of trips. That's a lot of trips to grocery stores, to medical appointments, to other necessary and social events that people want to go to. That's really important. And the reason why that's important is because when they've done the grand poobahs of research, when they've done those studies to find out how many people want to remain living in their homes as they age, it's 92% of us want to keep living in their homes. But sometimes they need a little bit of help. And that's why the village is here. In DC, we are very, very lucky to have 13 villages. We have the highest concentration of villages in any small geographic location. This year, we hired an inaugural executive director, Dr. Katrina Polk, who is here tonight. Give her a round of applause. And she is helping to have the 13 of us work together collaboratively in order to have more programs, but also expand these services. So we have more than 13 villages to every corner of DC, so that whenever there's somebody who wants help from a neighbor or needs a little bit of a helping hand from a neighbor in order to keep their dream of living independently in the community that they love, we want to help them. And that's what you all are doing here tonight. And I so appreciate your support and your willingness to do that by your generosity of buying a ticket tonight and coming out and supporting us. However you want to do it, as a member, as a volunteer offering services, as a neighbor, or as a donor, we appreciate it. And I thank you very much. I'll be back in just a minute, but now to give you a little bit more of those statistics and details. But right now, I want to introduce Lon Kiefer. He is an amazing guy. He hails from Seaford, Delaware. So he drove here tonight. We thank him for doing that. I won't tell you when. He's open for Jay Leno. He's open for David Letterman in 1984. He doesn't count as an old soul. He's just old. But really, he spent the last, how many ever years, 40 years in the senior living community. He's a registered nurse. He's a Bachelor of Nursing. And we are so happy that he's going to be here tonight to share a little bit about what life is like as an adult. And with that, I'll give it up for Lon Kiefer.
All right, how's everybody doing? Everybody doing all right? Hey, before we get started, I'd like to thank Shady Acres for having me here tonight. That's the name of the village, right? Pretty close, yeah. So, yeah, my name is Lon Kiefer, and I was voted one of Baltimore's funniest young comedians in 1984. A lot's changed since then. When I go around now, people look at me. You're looking at me right now. I know what you're probably thinking. That guy, he looks like a retired cop and a newborn infant all at the same time. I got that perfect blend of body fat to pull off of those two things. I think I look like this because my father was German and my mother was Mickey Rooney. Yeah, yeah. Some people say you look like I don't know if this is going to go over or not, but people say I look like Hank from Breaking Bad. No, no Breaking Bad people here. All right, all right. Well, I am so happy to be here. I had my 55th birthday. Yeah, yeah, about 7 years ago. I'm a pluser. I'm a +7. Yeah, yeah. I had to RSVP for an awards banquet the other day, and they said, "Mr. Kiefer, will you be bringing a +1?" And I said, "No, she's a +8. My wife is a year older than me." So thank you for doing that math rather than thinking that was a size joke. That was an age joke. Yeah, I'm +7. She's +8 because she was born in January. She's a year older than me until October when we level up, and that kind of thing counts in a relationship. Yeah, she married a younger man. I got a cougar on my hands. Yeah, yeah, I tell you what. Sex. There you go. It's always on my mind, just like when I was younger, but it's very rarely on my itinerary. You know what I mean? I mean, sex for me is kind of like climate control is for you. I always think about it globally, but I rarely act locally. It's on my mind, but it's not on the agenda. I mean, I got all the time in the world, but it just never happens. Like I got more rigid as I got older. I plan things, right? I don't just do things spontaneously. I mean, when it comes to sex, I understand women, they appreciate foreplay. I appreciate 4 days notice. Yeah, I want, I want to know what's ahead of me. If the best looking woman in here came up to me and said, "I want to make love to you," I'd be like, how's Tuesday? Tuesday work for you? And then once I'm on the clock, I got to get started. Day one, I got to get to bed early. I got to get about 12 hours of sleep. Yeah, day two, I wake up and I start hydrating, pushing fluids all day. Day three, it's carb loading. On day four, the day of, I wake up, I medicate and meditate, get my mind and body as one. Yeah, and if it's with my wife, I'm going to need a fifth day because she's going to barter for it. She knows what she's getting in the deal. She's going to make me, mow the grass before I plow the field. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, this is about as spicy as it gets. Don't worry, we're not going any further than that. But yeah, she's amazing. I got married. I was a single dad for 20 years. Thank you to that one person. You might not have heard what I said. I was a single dad for 20 years. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I wanted to raise my kids. I fought for that right, man. I wanted to be in their lives. Single dad 20 years is a hell of a lot of hard work. Had I known, I would have just paid the child support. I'm not kidding. I mean, it was a much easier path to just pay the child support, I think. But for 20 years, I stayed single because the kids and I were doing great and I didn't want to mess things up. We got any blended families here? Any second marriages? Yeah, I didn't want to mess things up with my kids, make them share a bedroom or switch high schools or something. So I was very picky and I wouldn't get married unless I met the perfect woman. And I met her and we got married. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. She's the wrong one. She's the wrong one for the right reason, though. I said I wanted a perfect woman, and I got a perfect woman. And when you get a perfect woman, you realize you got to watch what you wish for. What you really want in life is a little bit of dysfunction, a little bit of plausible deniability in the relationship. Like if anything goes wrong in this relationship, it's clearly going to be my fault. I'll be standing there in front of the judge going, can I just get some underwear or something? I mean, this is on me. I completely admit it. And she points out that she's more perfect than I am all the time. She didn't have a problem when we were dating, but as soon as I wifed her up, sir, she had a lot of opinions. You know what I mean? She comes in the house and the first thing I find out, gentlemen, some of you may appreciate this, that apparently I do not respect the dish towel. Anybody have this in their relationship? For me, as a single father, a dish towel is something that when I go into the kitchen to cook, it just miraculously appears on my shoulder. It's there for anything I need. It's there to wipe sweat off of my brow. It's there to clean up spilled spaghetti sauce off the counter. I will use my dish towel to wipe down my boat. It is my dish towel. And my wife said that I'm using it wrong. A dish towel is only to be used to dry things that have been properly washed. Ladies, do you agree with that? Yeah. All right. So happy wife, happy life. I agree with that. But I did have some towel related questions for the relationship. Like, what am I supposed to do with the towels in the master bathroom? I'm not allowed to touch them at all. They're in there stacked up nice and neat, like in case we get company coming over or we're going to sell the house and they're going to take pictures or something. They're stacked up 4 deep. I can't touch them at all. She expects me to use the moldy towel on the hook behind the door. Yeah. So now, because I'm an obedient husband, whenever I get out of the shower, I go immediately to the dish towel. They have been washed and now they are properly dry. Thank you for that life hack. And then I put the dish towel, the moist dish towel, right back on the arm of the oven where it belongs. Leave the wet footprints down the hallway so that she can, solve a crime. Figure out what I did, you dirty bastard, in the kitchen with the dish towel, like we're playing a game of Clue. I do this because she had her eyes on the thermostat and I didn't want her to think all victories were worth, having, right? Let me tell you something. If you cede control of your thermostat to a premenopausal woman, you are in for some stormy weather, some fast changing conditions, some drop in barometric pressure, rise in temperature, hail in the living room. Who knows? And then once they have air superiority, the whole house is up for grabs. After we moved in, furniture started moving around. I got a recliner. I don't even know where it is. Oh, it's unbelievable. Sometimes I don't even think she likes me. She treats me, yeah, really, seriously. If we go out in public and I introduce her to people or something like that, and I don't do it in the way she likes, she describes me as a rescue. Like she picked me up on the side of the road with a 30-day life expectancy before she got me. It was great in the beginning. She would rub my belly, hand feed me, give me baths. But once the shock went on, things got serious. My family's like, what happened to him? I don't know. He went for a walk and we never came back. That's how I met my wife. She's amazing though. She loves to take care of me all the time. We're sitting at home watching TV at night, all cozy, lovey-dovey. She's got me right where she wants me. I'm in the corner of the room and she's by the entrance. Knows right where I am. If I get up to leave the living room, she says, where you going? What you doing? Oh gosh, leave me alone. If I come back to the living room from anywhere in the vicinity of the bathroom, she goes, boy, good boy. Leave me alone. Man, if she starts following me around with a wonder bag on her hands, you get this reference, right? You got to clean up after your dogs, right? Yeah. I'm going to take off the collar and run away. I don't think running away will matter though, because I think she has me chipped. Seems to know where I am at all times. All I know is if I go anywhere near a Chick-fil-A, my phone will ring. Where you going? What you doing? Oh man, she's amazing. She's amazing, but I tell you what, still got some libido going on in the family. That's right. I mean, things aren't the way they used to be. I've already said that before, because when I was a young man, I could go to a woman and say, honey, I'm going to make sweet, sweet love to you. Sorry, sir. I wasn't looking at you. I was over here. I had confidence. I was like an original gangster. I was confident in myself. Now I'm more like a Boy Scout. It's like, on my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and your booty. I'm going to try so hard. How many people have noticed this? You can tell how old people think you are by the way they react when you fall down. Do you hear that? You can tell how old people think you are by the way they react when you fall down. When I was a young man in my 30s, if I would fall down, everybody was like, then they come and push you over when you try to get back up. Then I hit a certain age where if I would fall down, they would like snicker and they'd come over and help me up. I fell down about 2 weeks ago. 6 people ran up to me and said, don't move, don't move, don't move. And then they stood over top of me as if to get a tape measure out and size me up for the casket, you know? Talk about me like I'm dead already or deaf. Well, he is in a better place now. So, yeah. Hey, I want to see if y'all are my people here or not. This is a participation thing. Let me see if I can do this. Sweet Caroline. All right, my people. My people. Hey, listen, if you're ever missing your neighbor, don't go outside and say, hey, George, because he's probably just going to keep going. But if you just go outside and yell, Sweet Caroline, they'll go, bum, bum, bum. Then you go get him. That's a little close to home, huh? I'll tell you what, hey, has anybody here been to, which one is in Florida? Disneyland or Disney World? World. Have y'all been? When did you go? Did you go like me when you took your own kids? You didn't get to go as a kid, right? There was none. It goes back to the 30s, doesn't it? The one in California. When did the one in Florida open? Oh, she would know. She's looking at her phone, folks. She doesn't know. She's Googling. That's what those millennials do. Let's get this fixed. Let's get this resolved. Well, either way, when I was a kid, we didn't have fancy schmancy vacations like that. No, I didn't get to go to Disney World. A vacation for me, when I would meet my cousins on the side of the road halfway between our houses on like a Ohio Turnpike in a Howard Johnson's hotel with an indoor outdoor pool. Who had that vacation? Yeah, we all did. We all did. And if you're lucky, you had a playground there, right? Yeah, the playgrounds back in the day. Remember those? Yeah, stainless steel slides with a vertical ladder up, almost vertical drop down. You know what was waiting for us at the bottom of those slides? Asphalt, broken glass, and poison ivy. That was a playground in my day. Yours too, I imagine. Man, you know the playgrounds now, these kids, man, they're all wimps. They got rubberized, pelletized mulch everywhere. They got foam on all the horizontal surfaces. They got a grandparent at every change in elevation. Kids don't even play by themselves anymore. Yeah, they got an awning over the whole thing for UV protection. Their parents are there with white peanut butter consistency SPF 2500 to rub it all over Precious's shoulders so she doesn't get a sunburn. That's crazy. You know what they used for UV protection when I was a kid? Baby oil. Thank you. That's right. You know why they use baby oil? So we wouldn't stick to the slides. Yeah, that was crazy. We grew up tough. And so we drive all these hours unions, and I was always car sick. So I'd show up like, you know, sick to my stomach. And my crazy Uncle Ted would say, I know what that boy needs. He needs blackberry brandy to calm his stomach. Yeah, used alcohol for everything. 10 minutes later, I'm throwing up blackberry brandy all over my crazy Uncle Ted. But it did my stomach down. I was like 9 years old before I could handle my blackberry brandy. When I was a kid, I learned this. When my kids were teething, my mom said, here's what you do. You go get a dish towel and you dip it in bourbon and you rub it on their gums. Then you wait 10 to 15 years and your child will be an alcoholic. Yeah, remember that? Alcohol for everything. Cough medicine, whiskey, honey, lemon in the honey jar with a tinfoil lid held on by a rubber band off a broccoli bunch. Lids are very hard to keep track of in a drinking household. When I get a little tickle in my throat, my mom would go and get it down and dose me up, right? The dose was 1 spoonful, so she'd get out like a ladle and like just jam it in my throat. And it was, you know, it calmed down my cough. It was hard to get down off of that shelf though when mom wasn't home. Yeah, that's right. Hey, we grew up tough. Y'all are still tough, right? Yeah, we've seen it all. Ain't nothing gonna scare us or worry us. We're just ready to roll on. Just keep on rolling on. Rolling on. I have not had a cigarette in 6 months. Thank you. Thank you. Now, I'm not a smoker. I never have been, but I'm taking my successes where I find them. That's right. I'm proud of that. I'm proud of that. Hey, you know what else I'm proud of? I went to the gym the other day. Yeah. I didn't work out. It was pizza night at Planet Fitness. Had a craving for Tootsie Rolls. You know that reference? No? Not in DC? No. Pizza Hut? Are we even communicating here? I think we need therapy. We got to work on this. It's funny. I'm laying in bed at night and my wife and I are talking. Well, actually, she's talking. And women, it's a fact, women talk like 3 times as much as men. I think so anyway. But so we're sitting there and she's talking to me and I'm not really listening, but I'm going like, uh-huh, yeah, uh-huh. And she's all happy because I'm listening to her. So then I said to myself, you know, I love this woman. I need to really listen to her. That would be a nice gift for me to give her. And then she says something ridiculous. And because I'm listening, I go, wait, what did you say? And she goes, you never listened to me. And I said, I know, but I am now. And I think we both agree we like it better when I don't. Oh man, marijuana is a thing. DC was the first one. If you bought a T-shirt, you could get marijuana, right? Y'all into that here? Medicinal marijuana? Yeah, I tell you what. When I was a kid, we used to say we're gonna smoke some dope to get stupid, right? Now at this age, we just sound stupid talking about smoking dope because we don't know anything about it and we're scared of it. We don't want to get the bad stuff. We don't want to get paranoid. We don't, you know. So I said to a buddy of mine that was into this, I said, "Hey man, can you get me some M&M?" And he said, "I got you, bro." And then we got together and we sat down and I tried this stuff and I said, "Man, are you sure this is medicinal marijuana?" And he goes, "Dude, I thought you said you wanted M&M. This is the Matthew McConaughey strain, triple strength. Make you feel all right, all right, all right." I said, "Are you sure it's not the Stephen Hawking strain? Because like I can't feel my body right now." But you know, marijuana's in the news and all this stuff. Medicine, not medicine, good, not good. Let me tell you something. If you're worried about this, your doctor recommends it, whatever, just give things a try because you know what the most dangerous drug in the world is coffee, caffeine. You know the side effect? It'll make you do a job you hate for like 40 years. I mean, that is a heck of a side effect, coffee. Man, I tell you what. But oh, man, I tell you, I happy to be here. I don't like going into DC a lot because it's very different than where I live. They said you told them that I live in Seaford, Delaware, right? Has anybody been to Seaford, Delaware? You have. Why have you guys been to Seaford, Delaware? Okay, so you went through Seaford, Delaware. Seaford, Delaware is not the kind of place where you stop on the way to Bethany, right? No? Trust me, it's the Calcutta of Sussex County. And that's where I chose to move when I left Baltimore. Yeah, I'm a Baltimorean, born and bred. Yeah, grew up in Oriole. Thank you. Where's that? Where is that? You a Baltimorean? No. Just just feel sorry for me. That poor guy, he's up there working hard. I'll give him a clap. No, it's a great crowd. You guys having fun? Yeah. Hey, this is a brave thing to do. Let's give Frank a big round of applause. Yeah. Once you give somebody from Delaware a microphone, you don't know what's going to happen. No, but I love this. I mean, I really value this. You know, as Frank said, I'm a nurse. I don't know where I am on time. Should I keep going or start rapping? 2 minutes, is that what you said? Well, it's perfect because this joke takes 20. Was that? Yeah, it's got a 2 in it. That's right. So, all right. Well, here's the deal. So, in 1980, I announced to everybody in high school, that's when I graduated from high school, that I was going to nursing school. And men weren't doing that back then. In fact, when I told everybody I was going to nursing school, a lot of my buddies said, yeah, we always thought you were gay. Right. So I had to tell them, I'm not, but, because that was the stereotype of male nurses back then. But I'm telling you what, it's a macho business because when I went into nursing school, a lot of the women went to medical school. So I was a changer of, yeah, yeah. They said if they're going to let this guy in nursing school, I should go to medical school. So I inspired 2 generations, 3 generations, 2 genders, everything. But so here's a story I'm going to tell you about the end of the beginning of my career. As a nurse, I'm out there like my first or second year as a nurse. I'm working 3 to 11 shift. And they come up to me and say, Lon, we need you to work 11 to 7 tonight. Somebody called out. And I said, there's no way. I'm exhausted. I can't, there's no way I can do another shift. I can't do a double. I had a full day. I just worked 3 to 11. I can't work 11 to 7. They said, we really need you. It's in the intensive care unit. People's lives depend on it. I said, I know. That's why I don't want to do it. So anyway, they throw me in the intensive care unit. And the good thing is I'm 2 patients. It keeps cutting out on me. I think when I stand there. So I only had like 2 patients, but they were really sick and, they were on the monitor. And one of my patients, sadly, they expected make it. But the other one was a gentleman in his mid-60s, about like I am now, a little overweight, just a little bit, just a tiny little bit. He had a back, and he's sitting there in his bed, and he looks fine. He's alert and oriented. On one side of the bed is the monitor, ding, ding, ding. And on the other side of the bed is the TV. He's watching an Orioles game. So I'm embarrassed to admit it, but at like 2 o'clock in the morning, I fell asleep. And it wasn't one of these like, just like nod out and then wake up kind of things. This was drool coming out of the side of my mouth asleep. I woke up to hear what has got to be the most frightening sound you ever want to hear as a health professional. Oh my God, what am I going to do? So I call out the code blue. I run in there. I jump on the bed, start beating on the guy's chest. All the doctors start running in the room, and then I hear, this has been a test of the emergency broadcast system. Yeah. And so he sits up in his bed, right? Says to me, I just checked on you 5 minutes ago, and you were resting comfortably. So I guess what I'm saying, folks, is we're all in this together. Nurse, patient, neighbor, friend, second floor, first floor, odd or even, we're all in this together. We all need each other. Let humor work. Thanks for being out here tonight. Thanks for having me, Frank.
Thank you so much, Lon. Okay. So this is not a dish towel. This is a t-shirt. Wait. What does it say here? Respect. Respect the dish towel. So if anyone wants this shirt, step for a donation and we'll give you the shirt. Thank you so much, Lon. I want to tell you just a little bit more about the power of the village. Last year, I told you already that we did 1,628 acts of kindness to over 225 members. And that's great. We're serving a lot of people. There are 2,900 households of people with someone 60 and older in their neighborhood, in that house. So we're making a difference. We're not making a big enough difference. We can still do more. That said, we're committed to it. We have 80 members that are those types of members that receive eligible to receive volunteer services. Over 30% of those individuals receive a free membership from the village. Money is not the reason why someone doesn't get the help that they need. We are neighbors helping neighbors, and we couldn't do it without the power of over 134 volunteers that give up their time, their resources, their energy, their willingness to get out of the house and do something for someone else. That's a lot of rides to take people to the doctor, to take them to the hair salon. That's really important, by the way, to take them to the grocery store so that they can pick out their own groceries and their own produce. Those are really powerful things that you all are helping to do. So I really want to thank you tonight for being here and making all of that really something that is so impactful right here in Cleveland and Woodley Park Village. And now I want to sort of introduce someone who's been here in this Cleveland Park neighborhood for 40 years. She lived on Macomb Street, right opposite the playground. She lives nearby in Cathedral Heights now. A very good friend of our founder, Elizabeth Fox, who is here tonight. Thank you, Elizabeth, for coming. So with that, I will introduce Sally Love. Thank you so much for being here, Sally, to talk to us about dating in your 70s and being a newlywed in your 80s. Here's Sally.
Thank you, Frank. And thank you, Stacy and Lon. I think my husband was laughing a little too hard at Lon's jokes over there. You know, I know this is billed as a clean comedy, right? I'm just gonna, my work is a little clean adjacent, okay? So, whenever I hear someone say 80 is the new 60, I'm like, right, tell that to my bladder, okay? She is 90 and she's a bitch and she's bossy. Okay. So finally, after, you know, a little too many accidents, I went to the doctor. I broke down. I went to the doctor and I said, you know, this is happening now. What am I going to do? And first question she asked me is, how much caffeine do you drink? And I said, well, a cup or two a day. And, you know, I'm not going to give that up. Okay. She said, well, you know, you need to start practicing Kegels. And I said, you know, we've been doing Kegels for years. We know. She said, you're probably doing it wrong. And I said, what do you mean wrong? She said, there are 3 kinds of Kegel. There's the butt Kegel, the vag Kegel, and the pee Kegel. And I bet all of you out there are trying to do that right now. Even the guys, right? Here's a fun fact. In Japan, where I just was, the sale of adult diapers has surpassed the sale of baby diapers. It's, you know, it's the demographic tsunami over there. It's probably, you know, it's coming here too. Anyway, she referred me to physical therapy, which was basically advanced Kegeling. And that didn't work that well either. So now I have my pads on auto ship and my coffee pods as well. It's all on auto ship. I am I'm very tech savvy. I'm interested in artificial intelligence. And as I was writing this show, I decided I was going to see if I could ask ChatGPT, which I subscribe to write some jokes about incontinence. And in about 8 seconds, they produced 10 jokes on incontinence, which were very good. Here was maybe the best one. Would you like to go for a swim? No, thanks. I'm having my own private pool party. I mean, that's honestly pretty lame, I thought. But help is on the way from the least likely source, Mark Zuckerberg. Now, what does Mark Zuckerberg know about incontinence yet? Facebook knows. It's those goddamn algorithms. You know, they probably know that I'm seeing my doctor about incontinence. They definitely know I get my pads on auto ship. So they know. And last summer, something came on my Facebook feed that said, if you have OAB, overactive bladder, some of us are familiar with that term, you may be eligible for a clinical trial. Now, I'm not really a big fan of being a human guinea pig, but I'm also not a big fan of bladder surges. So I thought, what the hell? So I filled the form in and then I Googled it. Okay, it's a little medical device called Intibia. I'm not making any of this up. Okay, this is serious. That is implanted surgically just above the ankle next to the tibial nerve, which apparently controls the bladder. Now, did anyone here know this? Because this is new information, okay? The tibial nerve controls the bladder and it is remotely activated. So for the first 3 months of the trial, you don't know whether you're on or off. It all depends. Thank you. Yeah, good, Lon. So, I got, you know, into screening and I go into the urogynecologist. It's not just a plain old gynecologist anymore. It's a urogynecologist. And, you know, I had my first pelvic exam in 40 years with stirrups and everything. And, she examines me and I asked her a question that I doubt if anyone had ever asked her before. Doctor, is this device going to interfere with my sex life? Is that you, Stacy? Yeah. So good heckler there. So she thought I mean, she really thought about it. And she said, well, not unless your husband has an ankle fetish, and I said, well, you know, we're like newlyweds. We've been married for just about a year and, you know, we're really not into kink yet. In our, you know, at our age, at age 80, it's more like outer course with toys. And it can kind of sound like the Autobahn in our bedroom sometimes. You know, when we got married up at St. Albans, the priest who gave the sermon actually said this. Elizabeth, you heard him say this. He said, the secret to a good marriage is to keep the fights clean and the sex dirty. I don't know how many of you have looked at your junk mail lately. And, you know, I don't know what woman my age, certainly, or any age, you know, is looking for a man with a 15-inch dick. I mean, really, you know, I think it's more of a locker room thing than a bedroom thing. But while we're down there, how many of you remember in the before times, even before control top pantyhose, how many of you remember girdles? Okay, good. Lots of us remember girdles. They were made out of latex, rubber. They incubated yeast infections. They did, right? And now, and what marketing genius came up with the name Playtex, as if they were recreational, for God's sakes. But now most of us have moved on to shapewear. And another marketing genius came up with the name Spanx, which to me conjures up a little light S&M. What I need is Spanx for my biceps here. They're also about 90. Yeah. So for those of you who, I don't know, I don't really see that many familiar faces, but anyway, lived on Macomb Street across from the playground, HSA president at John Eaton, you know, was married to sort of a neighborhood hero who might have helped you with your property taxes at one time or another, Peter. And then I've always been concerned about the environment. So I was really thrilled to hear that the Marriott Corporation got on board with this. And they announced, I think about 2 years ago, that they were taking all the little plastic bottles out of the bathrooms and out of the hotel bathrooms, and that they were going to save about 500,000 bottles a year out of the landfill. Now that's wonderful for Marriott, but what are we going to be taking from the hotel bathrooms now? You know, you used to tuck a one or two into your toiletry bag and take them home, put them in a nice little basket in your guest bathroom where they sat unused for the next 20 years. But at least they were out of the landfill. I love gadgets. I just love gadgets. Kitchen gadgets. I have Instapot. I have one here and one at our place in Chautauqua. Any Chautauquans out here? Okay, Chautauqua. It's a thing. It's a place. Yeah, and I had sous vide equipment, vacuum sealer. Heidi, you can borrow it anytime you want. There's my next door neighbors over there. I even got something, a thing that spiralized zucchini. Now, who ever thought raw zucchini was a good idea? I don't know, but I took that right to the opportunity shop up in St. Albans. That was a mistake. You know, and we also have toys in the bedroom, obviously, as I mentioned. One we don't have, and I don't intend to get, is Bluetooth enabled. So evidently it allows you to chart and graph your arousal and your orgasms. Now, I don't know about you, but it's hard enough to have them, much less to have to chart them, for God's sakes. Have any of you had your genome sequenced? 23andMe, Ancestry.com, is that all? Hardly anybody. Oh, wow, okay, a few more. It's where you spit in a test tube, you send it in and they run it through a machine and they tell you where your people came from and other random things about you. I was hoping for a little spice in my lineage. My friend Wendy thought she was 100% Ashkenazi Jew. Turns out she was 13% Moroccan. And I just wanted that little extra oomph. I'm 100% from Great Britain. But I did learn a few other things, or they told me a few other things, all of which I knew, and I didn't really need to spend $200 to find out. One of them was that I have soft earwax. Another one was that I have a C cup, which of course I knew. And the third thing was that I tend to wake up at 6:41 in the morning. Very random, very random. Yeah, I did meet a niece that I didn't know about through 23andMe. So that was a sort of an interesting opening for our family. That was great, actually. So back to the doctor. I'm 80 now, and I told her, I said, I'm not having any more colonoscopies. I'm just not, you know. And so we had a little back and forth about that, and she finally convinced me to do Cologuard. And you've probably seen ads on TV where these like happy people, they're like pooping in a box and, mailing it in. And I started thinking, our US mail is now full of our saliva and our poop. So the next time you tip your mail carrier at the holidays, I want you to just think about that. Now that I have my own personal husband, Mike, raise your hand over there. Yay. I don't need to, I'm off the dating apps, which is actually how I met him on Match.com. But, all the lunches and coffees and, oh my God, it's just, there was Nelson, who was one of the more colorful ones. He had been a Green Beret had parachuted behind Viet Cong lines in Laos in the 60s. Now, somehow, as a lifelong pacifist, that was like catnip to me. I got really into Nelson for a very short time, actually. David was another character. Okay, David, when you're 75 years old and you're online dating, you're not expecting Sir Galahad. You're expecting sleep apnea, okay? Right, Stace? Yeah, you are. And so David, though, he got a little handsy a little quickly, a little too quickly. And one day I said to David, look, David, you know, you gotta, I'm confused. Some days I just don't know what I want. Some days I want a boyfriend, and some days I want a Labrador, a Labradoodle puppy, and some days I want a Mini Cooper. And he stopped and he said, get a boyfriend. They're easier to get rid of. I never did get the Labradoodle puppy, much to the relief of all of my friends who always thought it was a bad idea. But I love other people's dogs. Many of my friends are moving to retirement communities. And for those of you up at Ingleside, I know there are a couple of you. Hi there. I have a friend, Phyllis, who moved up there and up to Ingleside, and I went to take her out for her 80th birthday a few months ago. And so she wanted to take her car. We were driving to a place, and up that Greek restaurant up on, you know, by just south of Chevy Chase Circle. Yeah. What's it called again? Yeah, the Parthenon, right, where the car crashed into it. And yeah, right. Anyway, it was not that day. So we're coming out of their parking garage, and Phyllis blew right through a stop sign. And I thought, well, she know, you know, this is her neighborhood. She knows what she's doing, and it's okay. So then, you know, and then there was another stop sign she went through. I'm starting to get a little anxious. And then she comes to the corner of where Ingleside comes out and hits Military Road, and there's a red light there. She runs right through the red light. And I said, Phyllis, you just ran through 2 stop signs and a red light. And she looked at me all innocent and she said, oh, was I driving? So, you know, when you get married at age well, I was 79. I also, where's Lon? Is he here? Okay. I also married a younger man, a little cougar action there. Not much younger, but Mike's turning 80 on September 11th. Former single father. I would like to wish all the fathers out here happy Father's Day. Yes. Yeah, so it's, you know, it's just we've grown up. We've had a lot of differences, you know, so different conversational styles. And this is the part where Mike laughed the loudest, Lon, when you were talking about this. I tend to ask a lot of questions because he does not give me enough information. He doesn't volunteer enough. So I have to kind of like pull it out of him, which he calls the Inquisition. And needless to say, he does not really like the Inquisition too much, or the alternate word for it is the interrogation. But so it's about more than conversational styles. It's about, you know, culinary preferences. It's about in our kitchen, condiments are a big thing. And I happen to be a mustard person. And I like a lot of different kinds of mustard. I like them in little, you know, artisanal containers. You get them from, you know, New Morning Farm and the DuPont Circle Farmers Market. He is a ketchup guy. Yellow, squeeze, you know, yellow Crafts or whatever, Heinz ketchup. So, you know, it's not unusual for him to say things like, when was the last time you used that mustard? That, you know, mustard with horseradish or something. And I'm like, you know, well, I don't know, but I might need it again sometime. And then I get my backup and I say things like, well, how many little jars of Thai seasoning do we need? And you know, when are you even going to cook Thai food again? So, and then, you know, we sort of go around a little bit like that. You know, he weaponizes my Dijon and I get really, really defensive and, you know, start talking about how his ketchup too much sugar in it. And did I mention that he is a stickler for use by dates, which is so annoying. I mean, does ketchup ever, it keeps forever, right? Anyway, one day I said, let's deal with this issue of what's on the shelves of our fridge. And so we emptied everything on the shelves from the shelves of the fridge. And once I decided that use by dates was not a hill that I was going to die on, we got rid of a lot of stuff, in fact. And then this beautiful human being takes a dish towel on, and dampens it and wipes all the crud off the shelves. I mean, like, what's not to love about that? So then, very emboldened by our success, we decided we would tackle the freezer. And pretty soon, you wonder how in the world is the contents of a apartment-sized freezer fill up every counter in the kitchen. Well, here's how. Overzealous Costco shopping, where I am a sucker for anything that contains cauliflower. Cauliflower pizza crust. I don't think Vaches needs to worry. Cauliflower risotto, cauliflower rice, which is not very good. Cauliflower gnocchi they even have. And, it all ends up in the bottom of the freezer, covered by like a year's supply of mozzarella cheese, 3 pounds of freezer burn abandoned shrimp, and leftover puff pastry dough from last Christmas's beef Wellington, which was a aesthetic fiasco, but heart attack delicious. So yeah, I mean, marriage is always a challenge, but at our age, there's just like some extra challenges. But I have no regrets whatsoever. And at our age, our use by dates are going to expire in the not too distant future. And until that happens, I'm going to enjoy every last drop of this good man, even if he likes his ketchup with high fructose corn syrup. That's my time. Thank you very much. Down. Yes.
Thank you so much, Sally. Let's hear it for Stacy, Lon, and Sally. Thank you so much. For me, if anyone knows me personally, this is really important to me. My mother lives with me, my family. She's lived with me for over 8 years now. She's 93 and a half. We count those half years, and we really appreciate those half years. Again, 92% of us want to remain living where we are as we age. I'm so happy to be able to do that for my mother, but also for the 224 other members of the village that we support in order to be able to do so. That's really important, and that's what you all have done tonight to help us do that. So from the bottom of my heart, I really thank you to help those 225 members, their dreams to become a reality. We really couldn't do it without you. I thank you so much. Of course, we're a nonprofit organization. We're going to have a fall online auction. We ask you to look at that. But coming up, the next thing that you can do if you're interested to support us, if you've got one of those earrings, but you don't have the other one and it's gold or silver, well, we've got an event for you. It's called Bring Your Bling on June 23rd at the home of Pat Whitty and Bob Whitty. They're going to delight you with some wine and hors d'oeuvres. And we have Jewelry for Good that's going to be there in order to take that one extra earring that you have and turn it into cash for us in order to help some of those 225 people in our neighborhood, and hopefully even more, so that we can offer the 226th membership for free for the person that needs our support. If you have that silver that you inherited or that you bought previously that you really don't want to tarnish, you polish that's tarnished, bring that too. Whatever it is, gold or silver, we've got it. We've got it covered. We'll take it off your hands. Thanks to Bob and Pat in order to make that a reality with Jewelry for Good. We also have some fun clothing drives that we're going to do in the future where you can have your professional suits and whatnot donated to those that want some vintage clothing, as well as a vinyl collection. Last year we did it. We had 2 van loads full of records, thanks to Sandy Rubin sitting right here, our co-chair, along with Pat. We collected some great things. Some, you know, the Beatles albums, was it the White Album? We had some Grateful Dead. We had some other fantastic albums. We're going to do that again. So get to your closets and your storage units. You got plenty of room, plenty of time. I mean, figure out what it is that you want to donate to us. Whatever it is, we appreciate it. Again, thank you so much for coming tonight. I hope you had a great time laughing. Remember, we actually helped you with your health. So when you go to your doctor, tell them that. And we'll look forward to seeing you the next time. Thanks so much, everyone. Good night.